Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This video is going to be another story time. I thought of a few more story times to tell you guys and I'm so excited because these are one of my favorite videos to do and also one of my favorite videos to watch. Like, who doesn't love story times? So this one is going to be a story about my worst doctor's experience. Like, the worst experience I had at a doctor's office. Like, I literally thought I was being punked. Truly, like, it was just a really ridiculous day and just a really ridiculous doctor's appointment. Maybe not the actual doctor's appointment, like it was a pretty normal doctor's appointment, but leading up to that appointment, it was all sorts of crazy. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm just gonna go ahead and get right onto this story time. I don't think that made any sense, but you know what I mean? So if you would like to hear about my worst doctor's appointment experience, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I believe this was a couple summers ago. I had to make a doctor's appointment to get like a complete physical done for school because I'm in the nursing program now, but this particular time I was in the medical assisting program. And at my particular school, at least for the nursing program and the medical assisting program, my school requires the students to get like a physical exam done by their doctor, really any doctor, and whoever performs that exam needs to sign like a piece of paper stating like for me example, I'm healthy enough to participate in clinicals. So yeah, that's why I need to get a physical done. Yeah, and at this time I didn't have a doctor. I don't know, I never went to the doctor. Like, I'm pretty healthy, fingers crossed, that I just never needed a doctor. Like, if anything was like super wrong, I would just go to like the emergency room or something like that. But yeah, I never needed went to the doctor beyond this point, and I never got physicals done, so I didn't really know where to go. So my mom recommended a place, because the place I went to, I'm not gonna name names, but the place I went to, it's like, maybe like the organization, I don't really know how else to like call them, because like there's like a couple different doctor's office. I only know of two. I don't know if there's any more. I feel like there is, but there's only two of them that I know of, but they have the same name, but they're obviously different. Like, they're in different locations. And my mom went to this doctor's office in like this location, but this location over here was closer to ours. So even though my mom didn't go to this one, we went to this one because, I mean, she went to this one. She, you know, had no issues with this, so she didn't think it would be a big deal to go to this one. And it was just closer just to get a physical exam. Like, we were just gonna go to this one. So that's the one that I went to. And so yeah, I called, made an appointment, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, being a new patient, I had to fill out forms, and they told me they were gonna send it in the mail. And yeah, so a few weeks go by. This was like a week or two before my appointment. I finally got all that paperwork in the mail. And let me just say, okay, this isn't like anything new. Like, if you're a new patient somewhere, obviously they're gonna have you fill out a good amount of paperwork, but the paperwork I got into the mail, you guys, I've never gotten that much paperwork before going to any other doctor's office in my life. Like, it was legit like 10, 13 pages. Some were like on the front and back. I just had to fill out all sorts of it took me like a good half hour to an hour to fill out this damn paperwork. It was ridiculous. So anyways, I filled out the paperwork. It took me forever to do that. And well, I guess one of the pages, it was like instructions. Like, it told you basically to like fill everything out, be honest, blah, blah, blah. And then it told you to mail all that paperwork back to them. And then it gave them their address. I think it was like a different address. No, it had to have been the same address. I don't really know. The address was confusing. I feel like it was different, but like, I don't know. I just followed the directions. I filled out the paperwork, I put it in the envelope, and then I mailed it to them because it was like a big deal. Like, they needed me to fill it out and mail it to them like a week before my appointment. And I was a little nervous because I already didn't get this until like a week and a half, 2 weeks before my appointment. So I just got really nervous, like, oh my gosh, are they gonna get it in time? Because they sent it to me so late. And then the instructions on this paper were telling me like they need to get it like a week in advance before your appointment, and I was like freaking out because I didn't know if they would get it in time. But anyways, I did that, and then I go to my appointment. My appointment was at like 7:30. It was like right when they opened, because I just like to do everything in the morning. Like, if I have to doctor's appointment, classes, anything, I want to go in the morning, get it done with. So yeah, my appointment was at 7:30 in the morning, basically right when they opened. I got there a little bit earlier because that's just how I am. I hate being late. Like, so I'm usually always like 20 to 30 minutes early. At least I try to be most of the time. So yeah, I ended up getting there at like 7:10ish, and the doors were open, so I walked in and like I checked in and whatever, and the like receptionist, I guess, she was asking me about my paperwork, and she was like, do you have your paperwork with you? Or she asked me if I got the paperwork in the mail and if I had it filled out and everything with me. And I was like, yes, I did get it in the mail, but the instructions that came with the paperwork was to fill it out and then mail it back to you guys. So I mailed it back to you guys like a week and a half ago. And she was kind of rude. Like, she was like, why did you do that? Even though I just told her like there was instructions provided with my paperwork to mail it back to them. And she was like, why would you do that? And that just like really took me like aback. I was like, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of rude that she like said it like that. She was like, why? And I was just sitting there like, because the instructions said so. And she was like, oh, you're never supposed to mail that stuff to us. And I was like, okay, sorry, but that's what the instructions said. Like, I don't, like, it's already done with. I don't know. I just thought that was really confusing. That just really, this is when all of the bad stuff started happening. So because I didn't have my paperwork with me and I wasn't supposed to mail it, even though it said in the instructions to mail it to them, I wasn't supposed to do that. So I had to fill out, I don't think I had to fill out every single page, but I had to fill out a good portion, like more than half. I had to fill out all of that again. And I was like, are you kidding me? And they were like, it's a good thing you came early because you're going to have to fill out everything all over again. And I was like, oh, that's fantastic. Maybe if you guys were more on top of your shit, I, you know, would have brought the papers with me. But no, your instructions said to mail it in. But whatever. I was like, fine, whatever. I came early. I'm just going to quickly fill everything out. So I did that. I turned it in. It was still before my 7:30 appointment, so it was all good. And yeah, so she was like, okay, thank you, blah, blah, blah. You can just wait for your appointment and they'll call you back when they're ready. I was like, okay, thank you. So I was just sitting there, and I was sitting there with my mom because I don't think I was driving at the time. I believe I had my license, but I like did not drive. So I had my mom with me, and we were just sitting there talking, you know, playing on our phones, reading, whatever. And all of a sudden, like 30 minutes go by. It was kind of no big deal. And then an hour goes by. And then all of a sudden it's 9 o'clock, and my appointment was at 7:30, and it's already going on 9 o'clock. And I was like, did they forget about me? Like they were calling all these other people back, like people like that came in like an hour after me. They were getting called back, and I was like, what is going on? I was like, and I was telling my mom, I was like, I think they forgot about me. And my mom was like, let me handle it, because that's my mom. She's like, don't worry, I'll handle it. And she goes up to the desk and she was like, my daughter has been waiting. Her appointment was at 7:30 and it is now going on 9 o'clock. She has been waiting over an hour and a half, whatever, I can't count. And they were really weird about it. At first they were saying like, oh, we're just running a little late, but then they were kind of doing things on their like computer, and they were like, I think maybe they were looking at like the schedule and seeing maybe the doctor I was supposed to be with didn't have any other patients. I don't know, because at first they were like, oh, sorry, we're running a little bit late. And then they were like, oh wait, actually this is kind of weird that she hasn't gotten called back yet. And that's basically all they said. And me and my mom, we just sat back down and just continued waiting. Like there really was nothing else we could do. And that's basically what they told us. They were like, maybe wait just a little bit longer and then see if they'll call you back. And we were like, okay, we've already been waiting an hour and a half, but whatever. So again, we were just sitting there talking, playing on our phones, whatever. And finally I get called back at, I think it was around 10:30. I get called back. My appointment was at 7:30, so they kept me waiting in the waiting room 3 hours. 3 hours! Now I can understand an hour or a half hour, maybe even an hour. Like if you're completely jammed, like I will completely understand that, but 3 hours? Are you kidding me? Like, thank God I didn't have like a job to be to or anything like that. And that was another reason why I was kind of like keeping my cool, because it was summer and I I had like online classes I was taking, but it's not like I had to be in class. I wasn't working. It's not like I had to be to work. I was doing nothing that day. So that's why I was kind of keeping my cool, but my mom was pissed. But I had to get this physical done and we were not leaving. So yeah, they called me back at 10:30 and, you know, the medical assistant or nurse or whatever she was doing like her, you know, crap with me, like vitals, height, weight, all that jazz, asked me all these questions. And she was asking me, one of the questions, obviously, she was asking me is what I'm here for. And I said, well, I need to get a physical exam. I need it for school. I have a deadline to get this paperwork in. That's another thing. Like, I was kind of running behind because it took me usually when you're a new patient, you can't get in as quickly as if you're already an established patient. I feel like that's, you know, how most doctors' offices are. So it took me a good few months to get in. Like, I'm glad I called when I did because, like, at this point, I had to turn all my paperwork in and a lot of it had to be signed by a doctor. I had to turn all that in like less than a month at the date of my appointment. So I was kind of stressing out. So I told her I have to get this paperwork signed. I need to get a physical done because I have a deadline. I need to get this paperwork into my school so I can start the program, you know, in like a month or whatever it was. And then she said to me, she was like, well, usually what we do if you're a new patient, we usually just have you come in. We just talk to you for a little bit, kind of like introduce ourselves, and then we set up a separate appointment for your physical. Which I've never heard of that before. Like, that to me sounds like a complete waste of time, not only for the patient but for like the doctors. Like, why would you want to take out like an appointment slot to meet someone? Be like, oh, hi, my name is this. Oh, nice to meet you. All right, see you at your next appointment. Like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't believe that crap for 1 second. I was like, that's bull. And so I told her, I was like, I called like a few months back and I couldn't even get in until now. And like I told you, I have to get this paperwork in and I need to get it signed. So I'm sorry if that's not how you do things, but I need a physical today. And then I told her, and I was like, and you guys also kept me waiting for 3 hours. Like, I'm usually not an outspoken person, so I was kind of like really quiet about it, and I was still being really nice about it. I was like, it's no big deal, but you guys did keep me waiting for 3 hours, so I don't really want to like have to come back to get a physical. I would like to get it done today. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry about that. Well, maybe you can talk to your doctor when she comes in, and maybe she'll be okay with giving you a physical today, but just to let you know, that's more than likely not gonna happen. And I was like, I was getting so mad at this point, because yeah, not only did they keep me waiting for 3 hours, but to hear that more than likely I'm not gonna get a physical today, I'm gonna have to make another appointment, I never wanted to walk out of that room more any other time, like, oh gosh. So yeah, she finished with her questions and she said, she was like, all right, I'll let the doctor know you're here. She'll be in a few minutes. And I was like, okay, thank you. So, what time did they call me? 10:30. So it was kind of going around like 10:45, 11-ish after, you know, getting my vitals and asking me all those questions. And I was just kind of playing on my phone, waiting for the doctor to get there. And I don't know if you guys could guess it, but they kept me waiting even more. It started to go on 11:30. It started to go on to 12. And yes, and I was texting my mom and I was like, Mom, I think they're playing a joke on me. And my mom was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I have been sitting back here for over an hour. Like, not only did they keep me waiting waiting, not just me, but my mom too, my poor mom. Not only did they keep us waiting in the waiting room for 3 hours, but now I'm back in the exam room. And again, I'm waiting over an hour. And my mom was like, it's fine, we need to get this done, just wait, I know it's frustrating, I'm frustrated too, but please, we just have to get this done. Because I basically told her, I was like, I'm gonna leave, like, this is bull. This is complete, utter bullshit. Like, I was so upset, but my mom was like, just stay calm, just sit there, we'll get this done, and then it'll be all over with. And I was like, okay, you're right. And so a few minutes after I was having that conversation with my mom over text, I decided to walk out of the room because I was like, I think they forgot about me again. So I walked out of the room and it was the most eeriest, I don't know if that's a word, but it was such an eerie feeling. Right when I opened that door, it was complete silence. and there was no one around. And I mean, there was a doorway, like, because I was like, you know, like, here's like the waiting room, and then there was like a door, and then like a long hallway, and that's where like all the exam rooms were. And there was a door from out in the waiting room, but like, even when she called me back, like 2 hours ago, and she took like my height and weight, that was like in the hallway, and even with the door was shut from the waiting room, you could still kind of hear like the muffling of people talking in the waiting room, and like the receptionists and other employees and things like that. But no, when I was in this hallway, like there was no one around, and it was silent. And I started to freak out a little bit because I just felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. Like it was a scary feeling. I don't even know why. Like, they like call me in here, they keep me waiting for hours, and then all of a sudden I'm trying to find someone. I can't find anyone in this whole doctor's office. There's no noise, no one talking, there's like no machines going, nothing. It was silent. And I feel like you would just have to be there, but it was just a really scary, eerie feeling. And so I just started walking up and down the hallways. Hopefully someone would come, you know, by. And eventually, as I was walking around the doctor's office, I finally found someone, and I was like, oh, thank God. And so this wasn't the nurse I saw originally, but it was just another nurse. And I was like, hi, I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm supposed to see blah, 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 this doctor. And I have been sitting in my room for over an hour, and no one's came to like check on me. The doctor hasn't came by, so I don't really know what's going on. And she was like, okay. And she just kind of like asked my name, and she was like typing my information in the computer. And she was like, oh, okay, you're supposed to see this doctor. I'll go get her. She's probably in her office. And I was like, okay, thank you. I just thought that was weird. Like, why would my doctor be sitting in her office when she knows she has a patient to see? But I was like, whatever. So I was just sitting. It was kind of like in the nurse's station. So I was just standing there waiting for her. And she went to go to the doctor's office to see if she was in her office. And then a few minutes go by, and she comes back, and she's like whispering with all the other nurses. And I was just standing there looking at him. I wasn't really doing anything. And then all of a sudden, her and a few of the other nurses go with her. And they're gone a little bit longer this time. A little longer than a few minutes, maybe like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. And then that nurse that I originally approached, she came back to me. She was like, so me and a couple of the other nurses, we went to go to your doctor's office, and we went to a few other places we thought she would be, and it turns out we can't find her. You can't find her? You lost the doctor? What do you mean you can't find her? And I was like, okay. I didn't really know what to say, because at this point, I was just laughing at this point. Like, it was just laughable. Like, at this point, it was already going like on 12:30, 1 o'clock, and my appointment was at 7:30. I literally had been there all day at this point, and I was like, this is ridiculous. And she was like, okay, just go back to your room. I think we're gonna look at a few more places, other rooms maybe she would be. Maybe she is out by her car. I don't really know. Just go back to your room. I promise I will be back in 10 minutes or less. If she's still not in there, then we'll figure out something else we can do. Maybe you can see another doctor or something else. And I was like, okay, thank you. So I go back to my room, and I was just kind of basically staring at the clock at this point. And right when it hit 10 minutes, I think right when it hit like 11 minutes, I got up from my chair, and I was like, that's it. I'm leaving. I'm done with this. This is ridiculous. I'm just gonna, even though like it's getting close to, you know, the end of my deadline, I'm just gonna have to find somewhere else to go, because this is just ridiculous. And right when I stood up and I was grabbing all my stuff, like my purse and everything, the doctor walks through the door. And I don't know what was going on with her. I don't know if she had some sort of like family stuff going on, personal issues, but she was just really off. And she was, I don't want to say maybe, I mean, I feel like she came off as rude. I don't want to say she's a rude person, but I feel like she came off as very rude, because she came into the room and she like slammed the door, and she was like, hi. And she sat down and just started typing on her computer, and I was like, hi? She didn't introduce herself. She didn't like shake my hand. She didn't do anything. She was just like, hi, and sat down and started typing. And it was just, that was just super awkward. And she was like, sorry about the wait. sorry about the wait. Are you sorry about the wait that my appointment was at 7:30 and you're just getting in at like 1 o'clock? Oh my gosh, you guys. I've never experienced something like this. And like literally, even at this point, the entire time I thought I was being punked. I was like, are they bringing the show Punked back? Because I swear I am being punked right now. And so after all that, she did end up doing the physical exam. Thank God, that's really the only good thing that came out of this appointment. She signed my paperwork and that was basically it. But I didn't end up leaving the doctor's office until about 2 o'clock. So yes, I was there from 7 o'clock in the morning, a little after 7 o'clock, till like about 2 o'clock. Literally there all day. And I promise you guys, like I told myself and I told my mom that I was like, there is no way I am coming back here. You cannot pay me. And then my mom told me like, okay, maybe next time we just won't go to this one anymore, but let's go to this one. Because like I told you guys in the beginning, like it's like a whole organization. Like they have the same names, but there's different locations. I was at this location, but my mom goes to this location, and then this location over here is the one that I go to now. I've never had any issues with it. It was just this one location. But yeah, that's basically the end of this story time. My absolutely ridiculous experience at the doctor's office, at my doctor's appointment. I've never experienced anything like that. Thankfully, I've never experienced anything after that. I hope I never experience that ever again. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Like, it was just a horrible, horrible time. But yeah, that is the end of my worst experience at a doctor's office. I really hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And I'm gonna get going for now, but I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, everyone.